Good afternoon and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for the Pro-Am Night of Racing. It is the early morning race here at Valencia, currently 5 a.m. Track time, ready for this afternoon's fantastic bit of drama we have got coming your way. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, hopefully being joined very, very soon in the box by Wellington Jimenez, who will be joining me live as well as we get tonight's proceedings underway. It is, though, the back to the normality of SimPlay Motorsport. The reverse grid race makes a return for only one of 4 appearances this season. So the first 15-minute will be, the first race will be no qualifying, but a 15-minute sprint race. Then into the second free practice and a 10-minute break for us guys before heading back out there for the qualifying and the second race of the evening. The championship standings, as they look, read for very interesting stuff at the moment. It is obviously in race order, depending on a few penalties. So Stardog leads the way from Wolski. Cherry Moore is third from Sam Greaves. Johnson in fifth from Brian Craig, sixth. Sturrock seventh. Millington eighth. Cummins ninth. Popovic 10th. With then Cabino, Gluhack, Mirko, Ritchie, Gary Clarble, Betton, Hunt, Taylor, Argent, Flores, Dronelander, Peckman, De Block and Waste. In bronze, it is out of Simcoe from Malarek, Stapley, Coates, Kruppeljan, Privet, Sanchez, Alcapara, White, Lee, Dog, Taylor, Tucker, Doosan, Atherton, Smith, Broom, Petrovic and Stanek, who is new for this race this evening, new driver on the grid. And in the Team Championship, Greasy Bandits lead the way by 38 points from the Vanguard race team. Team Merlot P3 from the BSH Spinners. Hulkanios Motorsport a P5 from 4Q. And then it is ACC Maniacs, Black and Blue Racing, FRL Racing Team, KSR SimPlay Racing, Team GBR and Forever Forward Racing down the bottom end of the championship. But what a start to the season it was last time out at Bathurst. The 90-minute race provided plenty of drama and plenty of action to go with it throughout the entire night, with different strategies and different ways that the drivers was going to be approaching that evening. Tonight, though, a completely different story. That 15-minute sprint is going to allow for drivers to just have a little bit more of that open wheel racing to racing with only the one mandatory pit stop. And then we get into that 1 hour feature race, again only with the one pit stop, ready for the drama that will start to unfold in what should be a fantastic night's worth of action here at SimPlay. So we are live at Valencia. We'll go over to the live pictures in just a few moments' time. Interesting reading, though, at the moment on that timing tower so far. Remember, the Pro Night is coming up tomorrow evening at Valencia as well, 8 p.m. BST for that one. And then we'll be back on Tuesday for the third round of LMU as we fast approach the halfway stage of the 7-race calendar of LMU in what was a great night out at Bahrain International last night. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it after this. It was a fantastic night's worth of drama, that is for sure. But right now, we have 5 minutes left of practice and we can take you over to the practice session at this moment in time, where you can be able to see an absolutely fantastic looking leaderboard there. Keenan Stardog, 2 tenths quicker than the bronze driver of Jamie Lee. Alcapara and Simcoe running around that 10th position as well in 9th and 11th. So a really interesting grid out there at the moment. And we know how much front engine cars can struggle around this circuit. What will be interesting to note is at the moment, most of the front engine cars are at the front of the circuit. So is this, with the cooler temperatures, going to play into their hands? Jimenez is in the server, but he's struggling with a headset connection problem at this moment in time. So with this fantastic looking race this evening about to take shape, who is going to be the dominant car at this track? That's going to be the question to ask, as we've just said. Front engine's not normally good here, but the rear engines, or the mid to rear engines, are better. But at the moment, that's not looking like the case so far. And what are we looking for from tonight? So obviously, Bathurst, a different challenge from what we normally see out there in the racing world. So this is going to leave us with a bit of questions to be asked from last week. Who has got the outright pace? Who has got that qualifying pace? Who has got the speed to win races? Because at the moment, Bathurst, 90 minutes, you can kind of say, well, that bit of inconsistency, getting that bit of damage, isn't going to tell the full picture. Whereas tonight, more than likely could tell the full picture. So it is going to, for sure, be an interesting watch to keep our eyes on what will happen through the course of this evening, and especially now heading into what is week number 3 in what has been a fantastic season so far. And if I just show you the calendar for this season, an absolute gem of a calendar out there. We've had the Bathurst 90-minute race, we're now at Valencia for the early morning race. Spa comes next, so another tricky circuit to get right. El Rouge and Radion, very difficult on the opening laps, 90 minutes of that. We then head to the evening race of the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone, for 90 minutes of that one. Monza will be back to this normal format of the reverse grid and the 60-minute race, in which should be an absolutely fantastic one to keep our eyes on. Alton Park as well will stay as this normal format. Nürburgring for 90 minutes. With Alton Park as well, that tricky, tight, bumpy circuit. That's going to be interesting. Nürburgring going to be good. Suzuka at night race should be fantastic for 90 minutes. Zolder always provides great drama at Zolder, so that'll be an interesting watch. And then obviously 90 minutes at the home of SimPlay's Donington Park. And like we said, we are just waiting for Wellington to join us in the box. But what a season opener it has been so far. Evening, folks. Not sure I can race tonight. Got a really bad gear downshift problem, says Gary Clauble. That's a shame for him. Rob Smith, I know, is not racing due to problems with his wheel. He's hoping to have the bits to repair the wheel by this week. Good evening to Stephen Coates in the chat. Let's have it, Team KSR, he says in there. So great to see the chat coming in at this moment in time. Hope you're all doing very well out there in the stream. And what a night this is going to look to be for sure. Wellington's left the service. He's obviously continuing on with his headset troubles as Al Capara, the bronze driver, has gone the fastest lap of them all at the moment. So interesting to see the pace there from Al Capara in this one so far. And yeah, this could be an interesting race for sure. We did have a few milestones last night that I had forgot to mention by the end of the evening. Kieran O'Reilly, 100 podiums to his name at SimPlay Motorsport. He's now one behind Overtaker. Can he get that at Monza next week in LMU? He also took his 50th pole position last night. And Bradley Duncan and for Phipps got their second race wins, not only just of the season, but of their time here at SimPlay Motorsport, putting them on a long list of 2 race wins, the likes of, I'm just looking at Killer Camel, Phil Radin in their Flem Speed 1, Luke Saunders on that list, Brandon Williams, Bolton, Schubert, Michael Johnson himself on 2 race wins, Andy Aberdeen, Rob Ramsell, Massinio, Sam Williams, Mirko Ricci only on 2 race wins. Quite unbelievable to believe that one. I believe nobody at a milestone in terms of race appearances, so that'll be another one to keep our eyes on. I'm just double checking there. Not at this moment. No, nobody's reached that milestone of race appearance, so still a long way to go for these drivers. Rob Smith, go for it, Stazit, get us some points. RL Fox in the chat, and don't forget Ryan Fox showing the Super Stags to the world. Yes, Ryan Fox spotted on his LMU livery last night, the Mansfield Town football badge, for those who don't know who the Super Stags are. And safe to say we ought to dock him a few points for running that badge on the car, but no, Ryan Fox was in the thick of some fights last night. It was great to see, but we're ready, or getting ready, for the sprint race. I'm still, in fact, no, he is, he's in with us. Wellington, Beefy is in the commentary box. How are we doing, buddy? As I hope he can hear us at this moment in time. We can't hear him. I've left the calendar on like a legend that I am while I was reading the stats page out. We're lining up now on the grid, ready for the start of this race. So while I wait, oh, I've just heard his mic rustle. That must mean we've got the man in. Wellington, can you hear us?
Yeah, had to factory reset the console and the headset, but yeah, we're back. A little bit tired, a little bit stressed.
How are we?
minutes, but I'm glad I made it just in time for the sprint race.
Should be a cracker tonight at Valencia, shouldn't it? It's really going to provide us with, I think, an interesting sprint. I'm not sure about the feature, but the sprint could be a juicy one.
Oh, absolutely. The drivers definitely have to be careful with the track limits, primarily in turn 1, and I would say the exit of the last corner are where we're going to see them pick up the most amount of track limit warnings.
So then the grid for this evening's race. Peckman on pole from Diego Flores as somebody hasn't managed to get onto the front of the grid. Andrew Taylor is third from Betterson. Mirko Ricci from Gluhak. Gabino from Popovic with Cummins from Millington. Brian Craig with Michael Johnson. Sam Greaves from Cherry Moore. Wolski from Stardog. And then your bronze pole sitter Petrovic alongside Neil Broom. Mark Tucker from Jamie Lee, White from Alcapara, Sanchez from Privet, Kruppeljan from Coates, Simcoe from Stapley, Taylor and Stanek. Not sure why it's put Stapley and Taylor behind Simcoe. It's probably because drivers haven't been able to get to the grid. But we're underway here for the formation up. And first of all, I suppose then, Wellington, who are you going for this race win?
For bronze, I would probably say, dang, really difficult. But I'll skip straight to silver. I think either Wolski or Stardog are the two to beat. We saw Stardog's pace last week out. Hopefully, he could carry some of that into this week. But bronze, I feel like it's kind of an open door. Jamie Lee looked quick in the practice session. So, I think those are going to be my two.
Say that one again for me. Sorry, Beef. I was just replying to a message on Discord there. Say that again.
Jamie Lee and Stardog.
Good shouts. Good shouts. I think Mirko Ricci in that Lamborghini. Starting P4, race 1. And then in bronze, do you know what? I think Neil Broom could do it in bronze. Missed obviously last week due to Bathurst, but I think he could do it. Gary Clarbel saying that I'm left too dangerous when you can't downshift. Indeed, Gary. And Stephen Beck in the chat. Come on, 4Q. Back next week to get some points. Sam says Hunt in the chat there. Highly anticipated this one, I think, Wellington, because Bathurst is always a little bit different. It's always tricky with the walls around up and down the mountain to make sure you're getting everything absolutely spot on. Tonight, I think we could see drivers, or start to see drivers' true pace and who is going to be doing what for this championship.
Well, yeah, we're definitely going to see the driver's true pace. We're also going to see who is braver when it comes to staying within the track limits and getting as much out of the car and out of the track. So I guess Bathurst may have been staying out of the walls, but I think tonight we're flipping the script and we're going to see whose balls are bigger when it comes to, trying to take as much out of the track as what they give you.
Indeed they will, as they approach now down towards the start-finish line to get this race underway. Who is going to be the one to watch here? Diego Flores lining up alongside that of Peckman at the very front of the grid. Here comes Peckman then to start the race. It's green and go, and it looks like Flores has already got the jump over Peckman in this race. A bit further back then, Richard Bettison as well as the jump over Mirko Ricci, who was sat behind Andrew Taylor going into turn 1. They was almost 3 wide, and Ricci sideways, Bettison sideways. Now Bettison right around, and has collected Steve Millington in all of that as well. But Peckman back
Cherry
up
Moore
the inside.
In there as well.
Cherry Moore also, we'll see who else has been caught up. Peckman got back up the inside of Diego Flores, and there is yellow flags everywhere. Beefy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Turn 1 is extremely fast. Yeah, just not at all surprised. Nothing that some of them they could really do.
Well, at the moment, it is Peckman from that of Flores with Taylor, Popovic. Then Cummins up into P5 as the timing tower sorts itself out. Dog has gone back into the pit lane at this moment in time. At the start of this race, I believe we had 31 starters here. I will double check that we've had no retirements early doors in this race. But yeah, already drivers dropping down the order due to damage. As we can see, Dog is going around. The 32 is actually in the pits, and that is that of Mirko Ricci, who is in there. As you can see, Dog doesn't look to have too much damage, but the order at the moment, Peckman from Flores coming under pressure a little bit here from Taylor, who's been put under pressure from Popovic. Popovic had great pace last week, just couldn't get the win. Oh, and it's into the back of Taylor.
Taps him.
Into the back. That's put Flores into the gravel as well. So Andrew Taylor gets a tap, and he's in the gravel with that of Diego Flores. It's all kicking off at the start of Valencia.
Greaves looking to make a move going into turn 1 on the McLaren, and he gets it before.
Absolutely crazy scenes then here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo of Valencia, a track that Wellington enjoys a lot, being a bike enthusiast in terms of the MotoGP games and such.
Only a 19-time champ. Yeah.
Oh, look at him gloating. You love to see it. 2 weeks on the comms box, he's gloating. Yeah, well, hey, look at the amount of cars in the pit lane already here, Beef. That's an incredible amount of cars in the pit lane.
Yeah, I would say a lot of them are pitting for damage and, I guess, doubling up and getting that first and only mandatory stop. Right now, I'm looking at this battle for second between Cummins, Greaves, Wolski, Lee's closing in. Taylor's in there, and Flores not far out. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting battle. Peckman, he's checked out.
He has at the moment. Your bronze champion has checked out. Missed last week, so he's got a bit of work to do to gain ground. Obviously, drop scores will appear on the championship standings next week. Jamie Lee, though, your shout for the bronze win. Look at him. He's already up into P5. Great start from him. Petrovic, oh, bouncing over the curb. Is starting to pull away from Neil Broom. We've got Coates, who's got that of Kruppeljan and Johnson looking on the back of him. Kruppeljan all over the place at the moment. Then you've got that of Coates having a look to the inside of White. Can't get the move done there. Did Johnson get through on Kruppeljan? Yes, he did. And a few more drivers into the pit lane at the start of this race. Gabino has just got past his teammate Mick Taylor. Stanek looks a little slow in the Aston Martin out the corner here. So he's now going to be under pressure from that of...
dive bomb from Johnson on White. He makes that through, but I think he got a track limit warning. A little bit wide through turn 1. Didn't keep it on the green.
Kruppeljan's just spun right around just behind him. So White has been spun around by Kruppeljan and has lost out now to the Lamborghini. That's a Lamborghini unlapping himself. So Sanchez, your lead pit runner. And then it's Popovic, then Sanchez, Bettison, Millington. We've got Simcoe on the back of Cherry Moore. Mirko Ricci could be retired from this race, it may seem. Who else is in the pit lane there then? Broom, Coates and Taylor are all in the pit lane. But what a dramatic race we're seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, Valencia never, ever shocks me. It's just one of those tracks that causes chaos. Either it's through the drive-thrus or just the racing.
Well, let's see what happens. We've got Jamie Lee running up in 4th place. Wolski looking good value for his money. Where is Stardog? He's pitted and down in 29th, a lap down. So that could put the end to bed of Stardog's race winning this one to back up what he did a week ago. Brian Craig coming under pressure actually from Stardog, who is a lap down. So Stardog has to be careful, doesn't he, at Wellington, to just not unlap himself in a dangerous manner.
Oh, yeah. But, again, Valencia is just one of those tight circuits where even if you don't mean to go for a pass, it's probably going to happen. And if he's on the inside, it'll probably stick.
Indeed it will. That was Johnson very wide, who's on the back now of Petrovic's Lamborghini. Petrovic currently running P2 in class at this moment in time, as we can see further forward. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad as well. Further forward, you've got that of Kruppeljan on the back now of White. White's gone very wide there. That's Stapley, I believe, is a lap down in the Bentley. Yes, he is. So Kruppeljan moves up ahead of White in this one. Sam Greaves in the pits, Mick Taylor in the pits, as is Stanek. Broom trying to get onto the back of Bettison. Taylor's come out net third in terms of the pit runners. Can Taylor get out ahead of Sam Greaves, who's just finished his pit stop? So let's see where these come out now. So where's Popovic just up the road? There's Sanchez. That is Sam Greaves, who's just exited the pit lane. Through will go Popovic, but Greaves will stay ahead of Sanchez and Taylor. So Greaves moves up a couple of spots there. Who's the McLaren that's just left the pits? Believe that is that Mick Taylor? If so, he hasn't done his stop. It is Mick Taylor and hasn't done his stop. Cherry Moore, track limits. We're only just over halfway through this race, and Cherry Moore drive through for track limits.
Yeah, again, that's just Valencia. I think Zolder is going to be as bad, if not worse, when we get there. But definitely could have been one of the turn 1 incident.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of times where it'll be harsh when you spin around and give you 2, at least from my experience. So maybe that, or maybe he was just pushing a little too hard and getting a little too greedy with the track limits.
Taylor's just gone off the track. He did this a few times last season, was forget to pit. And yeah, that's put to bed Taylor's race. Mirko Ricci's back out on track after his damages have been repaired. And Stardog down in 29th on the back of Stapley now. Might get Cherry Moore after Cherry Moore serves the drive-through. Privet into the pits. But with just under 8 minutes left on the clock, it's Cummins who leads from Wolski, with Jamie Lee only 9 tenths behind. Jamie Lee looking decent already at the start of this race in that bronze category.
Oh yeah, very, very solid. If I remember on the practice session, he was like top 5.
Yeah.
So definitely good pace. Ooh, Peckman may have just gotten himself a warning. He cut across the white line.
So Peckman there, like you say, may have picked up a bit of a warning. Where is Popovic? He's good gap for Peckman there to settle into a nice rhythm, isn't it? Ahead of Popovic now with only 7 minutes on the clock, but has to be careful in this race. So it's Cummins from Wolski, from Jamie Lee, your bronze leader. Flores completes the silver podium. Then it's Michael Johnson from Tucker, who's second place in bronze. Gabino from Kruppeljan, who is third in bronze. And here goes Gabino, actually having a look on the back of Tucker. Gabino with some front-end damage on his Lamborghini. Looking to the outside of Mark Tucker, trying to get the up and under, but can't do so. And Gabino dives into the pit lane. Further down the pack, Andrew Taylor trying to put the pressure on Sanchez here. We've got Petrovic putting some pressure, or coming under some pressure, should I say, from Neil Broom. Broom obviously had that good push in bronze last season. Just fell short of Peckman at the very end. Drive-through cleared for Cherry Moore. Mick Taylor's back into the pits. Did Stardog get ahead of Cherry Moore? Yes, he did, is the answer to that one. So that puts Stardog up into 28th, but this is not the way to want it to bounce back after a great showing at Bathurst.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, as I usually say, the sprint races don't mean much of anything. It's kind of like a laugh race. But I would say that all he needs to do is just put his money on the feature race and then just go from there. Because you're going to score a little bit more points in the feature race than in the sprint race. So that's my mentality. I know there are some people that take the sprint race way too seriously. But, yeah.
Let's see what happens as this race develops. And into the final 5 minutes, Gabino exits the pits, sort of emerged in Kruppeljan's car. That will stop ghosting them when they come apart. But yeah, Kruppeljan trying to get through further forward though. Look at, in fact, I don't know who that was further forward. Drive through for Petrovic himself. So Petrovic picks up a drive through. It was Neil Broom trying to attack the back of Petrovic there. Well, he's got the drive through, so Broom doesn't need to worry about it too much, as Steve Millington close to the back of them two as well. Leaders all in bar Wolski. Wolski goes one more lap.
Yeah, interesting call from Wolski. I probably would have come in with everybody else, but I guess he's just going to use the clean air to his advantage and then maybe 1 or 2 push laps before bringing it down to the pits.
Well, let's see what Wolski decides to do. Tucker's also stayed out. So has Brian Craig. B-Dog has just come into the pit lane himself. So everybody, I believe, now has done their stop. Bar Mirko Ricci, who is the fastest lap out there. So a little consolation point for Mirko Ricci, it feels, at this moment in time. But he's still going. He's obviously got race 2 to come back in this one. Here's Al Capara all over the back of Coates. At the moment, Sanchez has lost out to Andrew Taylor, so Taylor's sitting in a good position at the moment. Cummins is out the pits though, and Cummins is ahead of Popovic. What about Jamie Lee? Well, he'll still lead bronze, but he has lost out to Popovic. In fact, Popovic might look for a move up the inside of Alistair Cummins. Can't get it done there. Now does Wolski pit at the end of this lap? This is going to be the big one to keep our eyes on here, Wellington. because the undercut, well, we'll see how strong it is.
Yeah, usually the undercut is a little bit stronger than the overcut, at least from what I've done throughout my, what is it now, 3 seasons of racing here at SimPlay. Just a little bit stronger, but of course there are some tracks here and there like Suzuka where I feel like the overcut is stronger. So kind of all to play for, but Wolski has quite a gap. Tucker's in, but we'll see. Peckman is just now coming around turn 10. Wolski is going towards turn 4, if I remember.
Oh, Popovic there, nearly in the back of Mick Taylor, who was letting the leaders through. Remember, on ACC, you have to let the lead car through on the ACC platform of the game, unlike LMU. So Popovic nearly in the back of Mick Taylor. Jamie Lee right there. Sam Greaves isn't a million miles away, you know, to possibly get onto this silver podium. But yeah, Mark Tucker in. He's going to lose out a lot of places, you feel, in this stop. Down to Flores, who's on the back of... who's got Johnson creeping all over the back of him here. And Flores at the moment is going to try and just hold on in there as they come into the final corner. Johnson looked quick in the Lexus last time out at Bathurst, didn't he? And he's trying to have a repeat of that here.
Yeah, we saw some of the dive bombs that he made, which were probably some of the best dive bombs I've seen in a while. And here he is going up inside of turn 1, and he spins. He spins, hitting Flores into turn 1, and he loses all the way back down to Cripple Jan.
Yeah, indeed he does. He's, excuse me, not had the best of times there. Neil Broom now on the back of Diego Flores. Wolski's in. So Wolski is into the pit lane now. So this is crucial for Wolski to get this one absolutely spot on here. Has that extra lap just helped him overcut the likes of Peckman and Cummins? This is going to be the key to find out where he sits in this race. Just behind Cummins, though, Popovic with Jamie Lee. Near enough, Sam Greaves as well, right on the back of Cummins. But Popovic just can't get close enough to Cummins here. He's too busy probably watching his mirrors of Jamie Lee at the moment.
Probably, but Jamie Lee looks extremely good on those brakes in the McLaren, which I feel like you kind of have to be at Valencia, because just not many other places you don't have a long front stretch to open up some of the quicker cars, so you kind of have to be as late as you can on the brakes, which we'll probably see a couple of dive bombs tomorrow in Pro.
Well, Wolski has come out in second place, and now he's going to lose out to Cummins. Might even lose out here to Popovic if Popovic fancies a look up the inside following Cummins through. Yes, he does. Wolski on the outside line.
Maybe
BMW
to Jamie Lee
versus BMW. Wolski a little wiggle, like you say there, Wellington. Maybe to Jamie Lee, but Popovic has got to get through first. Wolski now back on that inside line. Jamie Lee looking to tuck underneath the pair of them. Didn't get the momentum. Has that inside over Popovic now, who's trying to hold his car in strong. Wolski just has a little wiggle again on exit. Is Popovic going to fancy a bit of a dive into the left-hander? No, he does not. And Wolski comes out P3, and Greaves is now right with him, as you say, Wellington.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Greaves was needing in order to come back into this. So now he's in a fight for silver podium.
Well, Wolski's just gone very wide. That's allowed Popovic through. Wolski still trying to have a look. Gets a tap from Jamie Lee, and Wolski loses the rear of the car. Jamie Lee loses the rear of the car, and Sam Greaves, thank you mama for the carrots, gets 2 places. The 663. That is, I believe, is that Michael Harris, the double 6-3, who is yellow flags. It was Michael Johnson, not Michael Harris, as I kept calling him last week. He had a yellow flag moment, but Wolski now down into 5th place.
I will say that was a very well-held slide by Wolski. I thought he was going around.
We've missed the race winners. Peckman has won from Cummins, from Popovic. Jamie Lee will win in the bronze category, with Sanchez about to take second place in that. Good result for SimPlay Racing 2 in the top 10. They need the points after Andrew missed last week. And then Sanchez's teammate Al Capora, P11. Well, that race come to a very quick, abrupt end there. 50 minutes has just flown by.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be at least one more lap.
Here comes Gabino, Krupeljan to gain over Neil Broom. Took us 17th, Brian Craig 18th. Well, what an end to the race. We missed it.
Yeah, again, I thought there was going to be at least one more lap worth of action, but Hey, in about 10 minutes time, well, 30 minutes time, we're gonna have 60 minutes worth of that action.
Yeah, and let's see what's going to happen in this race. B-Dog has gone off at the final corner and has not yet got going, so he is tumbling down positions at the moment. Stapley's going to gain an extra one, as will Keenan Stardog as well, so 25th for your current championship leader. Stanek, new driver this week in that Aston Martin's going to hold on in there over Cherry Moore and Gluhack. Mick Taylor's finished down in 30th, Mirko Ritchie at 31st, and B-Dog, yeah, looks like he's having some sort of wheel issue here as he can't get back going at the moment. But that was the end of the first race. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport here for race number 2. And it's the qualifying session of the second race getting underway. Remember, the bronze drivers set the qualifying times first. So they will be the drivers to keep your eyes on in this qualifying session. We're currently on board with Stapley at the moment as he begins his qualifying run here at Valencia. Now, Simcoe has to remain in the pits. He was meant to serve a qualifying ban last week for an end-of-season ban he picked up from last season. So he's to remain in the pit lane, as is Duffin, who might be here for race 2. So we'll keep our eyes on that. We have lost a driver who's had to go off in a family emergency. I believe that is the Aston Martin of the new driver, who is no longer on the grid. So at the moment, Stapley is out on track, as is pretty much the whole bronze category, bar Petrovic and B-Dog, who we think may have had some technical issues with his steering wheel at the end. But Simcoe has stayed in the pits, which is good to see at the moment. Don't normally see the chat on a Wednesday. It's normally this. Is it normally this quiet on it? It's a little bit more chatty tonight, Rob. But there's some football match between Croatia and some minnow country called England playing tonight. And for those in the chat who go, well, you sound English, why aren't you supporting them? I'm from Wales, so that is why I'm not supporting them. Let's not get this confused. But yeah, so it is a little quieter than normal, Rob, to be fair. That's because, obviously, like I say, the minnow country of England versus Croatia is on. But Stapley starts his first lap, coming in towards turn number 1. He goes, taking a lot of curb on the inside. And yes, it's not front-engine friendly here. The curbs aren't really going to help out the likes of the Bentley around this track, are they, Wellington? Because they're not really raised that much, are they? They're quite flat curbs.
I mean, yeah, there are a couple of curves that you could use where you can get the front engines to hook just a little bit more, but some of the curves are going to be very, very slick and quite difficult to get the power down. I know the Ford can traction control bomb itself, so you have to run what I call the cheat code on it. I'm not going to mention that because I can't spill my setup. But yeah, you have to run a slightly unorthodox traction control in order to get around here and not, again, TC bomb your entire lap.
Being asked what Wales are playing, the United States of Wales play Australia on Friday. That's only because I've decided with my American co-commentator to cheer on the USA this year, so as Wales didn't actually qualify for the World Cup. So the United States of Wales play on Friday. So it's all good. But Stapley coming through the final corner, about to set his first line. Now, 6 a.m. in the morning here, Wellington. What is that going to pose to the drivers as a different challenge for this qualifying session?
Well, it's going to be dark, and if we look back to Misano, it's going to be very, very difficult to find really just where the track limits are. Of course, if you're using, well, we call it hood camera, but bonnet camera, it might be a little bit easier than actually using the first person or the HUD camera. But yeah, it's just one of those things that the drivers are going to have to adapt to. I personally enjoy qualifying in the night, really hate the day, as we can see by a couple of my laps. But yeah, definitely going to be a lot more a lot closer, I think, as we could see the top. What is that? 5 separated by just a second. Stapley just outside of a second.
There's also a car out there that shouldn't be. Popovic is on track at the moment.
Popovic. So if we exclude Popovic, you have the top 4 separated by a second, and again, Stapley just outside. Oh, and Peckman's out there as well.
Peckman as well. He would have been in bronze qualifying last season, but obviously not now, and he's out there during the bronze qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, either just a mistake or... Yeah, I would just call it more of a driver error. I think that some of the drivers kind of forgot that they got bumped up a class. So their brain might still be into last season. Or it could just be him thinking that there isn't a split qualifying.
I mean, I get that, but when you still see so many cars in the pits, and all them are the silver numbered drivers, you'd surely put 2 and 2 together. As here comes Alcapara. The normal penalty, if you're wondering, for qualifying in the wrong category is a qualifying ban for next week. And then, if you do take pole position, you will be disqualified disqualified from the qualifying session. So if you do get pole, it will not count. As Tanner saying, Tut says Cherry Moore, and Tanner saying 40 slides to go. That's his training he's doing. Well, he best have it done, because we've got some games to play later on.
Head down, Tanner. Head down.
Head down. Focus hard. Alcapara still leading the way, though, in qualifying. 7/10 clear of the next bronze driver of Neil Broom. 1.1 clear of Stapley. So cracking lap that from Alcapara at the moment.
Oh, yeah. 32-1. That's not half bad for a bronze driver. If I had to guess, the silvers are going to be about a 31.5 for pole. That might be a little stretching it just a little bit. Then, of course, tomorrow night it'll probably be a handful of platinums in the 29s, which, just to give a couple of the viewers a benchmark of the lap times that we're going to see tonight compared to tomorrow night, when all the lovely pro sweats come out to play.
Pro sweats. Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting. You're in the 28s, I do believe, aren't you? You was telling me the other day.
I've never seen anybody in the 28s at Valencia. You're going to need a missile on the back of that car, but 29s is about the kind of where the platinums are going to be. I might be 31s for qualifying, but I've also done no practice. # no practice gang. But yeah, we're going to go out there and see tomorrow. I have nothing to lose, really.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Mick Taylor hasn't gone out for qualifying yet, with 3 minutes left on the clock at the moment. The 63 will be the next car to come around to complete a valid lap now. Popovic and Peckman are both back into the pit lane. So I think the penalty will be negated if they go quicker in their session, as Privet moves up into P8. But we'll have to wait and see. The 82 of B-Dog back out there at the moment. He's looking to set another lap time as well. Cherry Moore says, waiting for the sun to rise. And that's going to be an interesting question, because the later this qualifying session goes on, you do feel that with it getting the track obviously more rubbered in and the temperature getting slightly hotter, you do feel that could come to the silver drivers in this session, don't you?
Oh, definitely. At least the rubbered in track, from what I've experienced, I feel like a slightly cooler temperature makes me faster. It could also just be a placebo effect and a little bit of skill. But I don't think the sun is going to rise as much as we think it is, or as bright as it was in the sprint race. I think it'll be maybe 1 or 2 gray shades brighter, but no more than that.
Will that have a massive effect, though, Wellington, just with it just starting to get that little bit lighter? Will it play? Oh, it's Jamie Lee goes and puts it on pole. Here comes Alcapara, and no improvement for him. What about his teammate Sanchez?
Alcapara goes up to a 31.9.
Yeah, he has. Sorry, so that's gone updated a little bit later than when I changed off him. So yeah, he has gone up at the order a bit. Will the time of day just have a bit more of an effect at the moment on the cars when they do come out on track?
I think the tires are going to get up to heat a little bit quicker. Then, of course, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to actually see where you're going instead of using the lights. You're going to use a little bit of the natural light. But, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be interesting. But I feel like we're still going to have that kind of mismatch of bronze with silvers.
Yeah.
But 31.9 is definitely going to be quite a lap for some of the silvers to beat.
Well, the last bronze driver of Stapley is coming towards the final corner now. He's got 40 seconds to get to the line, which I believe he should do. So Stapley should get one more lap in here.
Maybe one more lap, yeah.
As he got 33 seconds on the clock. He crosses the timing tower now and gets one more lap in. Remember, the silver drivers cannot leave the pits until the 10-minute mark. So Stapley is going to be the last man on a valid lap here. But first of all, it's Sanchez. Alcapara's put it into the pit lane. Where's Jamie Lee? The 473. I'm not seeing him out there, so he's in the pits. Coates is in the pits. So Stapley, can he try and get himself onto that front row of the grid? But here comes Sanchez at the moment, the Hulkanios Motorsport Mercedes-Benz. Does he improve on his time? He does. Goes up to P3. Good lap at the very end from him. What about Mark Tucker now as the silver drivers start to make their way out onto the circuit? Here comes Tucker, who's going to pull immediately to the inside line. So I think it's Neil Broom, the next car, and it is. He goes up into P5.
Yep.
So a good lap from him. Now back down to car 4 of Kruppeljan, 1.4 off the pace at the moment.
Yeah, just coming through. Oh, I'm not even going to pronounce. Turn 12. And through turn 13, heading down into the last corner. Got to be careful not to invalidate it. He keeps it right on the curve, heading towards the line. Again, still 1.4 out. Any improvement? Yeah, now 1.1 out. Not the improvement that he would have liked, but I mean, with how difficult Valencia is, I'll give it to him. But almost beating Popovic's time if he had another 2/10 out, but he did have quite a big slide coming out of the last corner.
Well, Stapley ends the bronze qualifying, and he goes into P4 just off the back of Sanchez. It's Mirko Ricci who is the first man out there in the silver qualifying session at the moment. So a good lap that, but the extra point going the way in the bronze category of that of Alcapara, who that puts him now just 2 points behind, 1 point behind Malarex. So a good job from Alcapara himself there at the very end. He'll be delighted with that one, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a 31.9. I think that was my personal best on PC. So, yeah, I'll give it to him. And that was with a Mustang with no restrictor, by the way. But yeah, and a Mercedes, out of all things, a really, really solid lap.
So let's see what's going to happen here as Mirko Ricci is the first man on that circuit. It still seems pretty dark, but you can just make out that it is just getting that little bit bright. Look, if we go on board with Mirko Ricci, it still seems pretty dark out there, but like Beefy was saying, it's just that 1 or 2 shades lighter than what it would have been at the start of this qualifying session. So definitely going to start to be playing a little bit more into the silver drivers' hands as we wait to see now what will happen for this silver qualifying. The race is going to be interesting. We had 15 minutes of pure chaos there. This race is just going to, you feel like we're going to be in for quite the hour.
Oh, yeah, I think the first maybe 20 minutes are going to be quite chaotic, then it's going to settle down, and then the last 10 minutes when these drivers are going 110%, I feel like we're going to see quite a few drive-thrus. I think I'm going to go over 2 drive-thrus on my imaginary bet. But, yeah, just the early parts of the race and the late parts of the race are where we're going to see the most chaos. We might see 1 or 2 little incidents in the middle of the race, but again, I think once the sand settles, and as Richie goes to the top of the board with a 31.4, Johnson 7/10 out from that, and Popovich, I think that's an improvement with only 8/10 out.
Because he was just ahead of Kruppeljan, if you remember, so it might not, his penalty might not matter. Peckman will also need to improve. He's still in the pit lane. He will also need to improve in this session.
And who was that you said, Matt?
Who was that I said about what?
Oh, alright. No, gotta be the voices in my head.
So Popovich has improved, so that might negate his penalty in the steward's room at the end, but we'll see. Peckman is going to have to do the same thing, but he is still currently sat in the pit lane as we're waiting for Greaves, Wolski to put some lap times in, and that of Cherry Moore. But here comes Mirko Ricci. So far, your provisional pole sitter, and a good half a second quicker of Alcapara. That is huge.
Yeah, I just saw Flores up to 20th, 2.6 out. Cherry Moore, Greaves, and Wolski still haven't gotten a lap in. It'll be interesting to see where they come out. Cherry Moore up to the line.
I've not seen him pop up. There he is, yeah,
Oh,
P16.
well, P17 now. I think he just got
Yeah, Wolski.
beat by Wolski. Yeah, up to 5th place, 1.1 out. Richie now a 31-0.
Yeah, Richie's flying out there at the moment. Betson's back up into 8th place. Great to see Betson back in the Lexus. Struggled a lot last season in the Aston Martin. Cummins, who was just on the podium, he moves up to 18th spot. And then it's the 985 who's coming to the line before Sam Greaves. So keep our eyes on Sam Greaves in this race. And we'll see what Sam will be able to do. 1,268 subscribers, so another one reached tonight. Thank you so much for that. Please, if we get 2 or 3 more subscribers, takes that 1.27 thousand mark, would be absolutely huge. We'd love to be at the 1.3 thousand mark by the end of the season. So we've got 9 more weeks of racing to do so. So if we can do it, that would be absolutely fantastic. As here comes the 18 of Flores, and only moves up to 22nd at the moment.
Yeah, Peckman is in the pits.
Yeah.
Who is next to the line? That's Mirko Ricci.
Oh, apologies.
Richie now to a 31.008, almost a second clear of Alcapar.
Sorry,
and
I'm just reading that
a
actually.
Second clear of Stardog.
Peckman had a qualifying ban.
Oh.
I've just checked the Discord. Peckman apologised for going out and tracking the bronze category. And Mike said you also forgot your qualifying ban. So Peckman actually had a qualifying ban. So there we go. So that's why Peckman hasn't come back out on circuit.
That'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the steward's room.
Yeah, that's going to be... that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on, isn't it? To see what will happen in that steward group. Stardog up to 2nd place, by the way, so good lap from him. Michael Johnson will be trying to get up there a bit more as well. Where's the 96 of Sam Greaves? Comes to the line, only up to 12th fastest at the moment, so just struggling a little bit out there is Sam Tay. But again, front-engine car, not that that's an excuse for Stardog, Johnson, Wolski and Alcapar, who's all front-engine car. They're all in the top 6 at the moment.
Yeah, I just find the Mercedes a little bit more difficult to get around because it's got a longer front end than the Mustang and the Lexus, but I feel like it has the best traction control and the best traction out of the front engine cars.
Well, let's keep our eyes on what Mirko Ricci can do. Can he break into the 1 minute 30s here as he comes towards the line again? And no improvement that time around. Popovic is coming towards the line. Can he find any more time in this one? He does. Move us up to 7th. What about Wolski? Currently down in 5th. Has he found any more time as Johnson comes out the pit lane? No, he doesn't. The 59 of Steve Millington down in 25th place. Hasn't got a laptop hooked up. He has now, though, up into 16th spot he goes. What about Alistair Cummins? 2nd place in the first race. 2.3 off the pace, though. Down in 20th at the moment.
Yeah, and Flores is 2.6 out. Hopefully he can at least get into that top 15 in that Lexus. His turn 11 looks very, very good.
Ooh.
A little bit of a wiggle coming out.
Gluhack splitting the bronze drivers up into P4 now. So Gluhack moving up the order. Sorry, Wellington.
Flores coming into turn 14. Could this be an improvement for him? We'll find out in about 5 or so seconds.
The thing to mention as well, obviously, we saw the 1 pit stop in the sprint. The drivers will have 1 pit stop to do in the feature race as Flores still down in 23rd. So just can't hook a lap up here at the moment in the Lexus.
Yeah, when I was on board with him, he had a couple of wiggles here and there, so maybe that was just losing him time. But he doesn't have I think this is his final lap to at least hook up a lap. But even if he's down towards the back, that might be a grace in disguise because it could definitely help him avoid a potential lap 1, turn 1 incident, and at least get through there cleanly and pick up even more positions than what he would in qualifying.
Well, here comes Steve Millington to the line, moves up into 13th place, so improves a bit more. Brian Craig, the next man on a valid lap. We then turn down to the head up to the 985 of Gluhack. What can Brian Craig do? Stays P18. Here comes Gluhack at this moment in time, round the final corner. Like you say, Flores might, in fact, Flores isn't going to get another lap in. I don't know if Gluhack will. Yes, he will. The car behind him is Sam Greaves. Does Sam Greaves get a lap on the board? Yes, he does. So the next car to finish is Gluhack, moved up into second place, 7/10 off the pole. But Diego Flores got to do something here. He's got to try and find a bit of pace from somewhere to get himself back up the order a little bit more.
Yeah, but again, like I said, it could be a grace in disguise, starting towards the back, almost like how you could start in the pit lane in LMU to at least avoid Monza turn 1. So, yeah, stays down in 23rd.
Yeah, crazy to think that Peckman and Flores in the Lexus is down that far. Here comes Mirko Ricci then, who is out to finish his next lap. Next will be the 88 of Popovic, down in P8 at the moment. And here comes Mirko Ricci. Unlucky in race 1. Does he improve? No, he does not. But he's still 7/10 in the lead of the qualifying session at the moment, which is good for him. Here comes Popovic towards the line. Wolski just ahead of him by 1/10 of a second. Can Popovic jump ahead of Wolski? No, he does not. What can Wolski do? He does not improve either. He stays 7th. Andrew Taylor stays down in P10, the number 3 next to the line of that of Brian Craig, before Gabino, as Brian Craig is actually going to bail on his lap. Where is Gabino? He's currently 11th. Can Gabino improve? I think Sam Greaves is on an invalid lap again, and Gabino moves up into P6.
Gabino goes up to 6th.
Yeah, good lap. Sam Greaves is done.
What a lap.
So Mirko Ricci takes your pole position there. Good qualifying from the Lamborghini driver.
Well, good might be an understatement. That was extremely good, that final lap. However, only 1.1 out. But I really can't take anything away from Richie with a 31-0 and 7/10 clear of the rest of the field. So is this a sign of things to come in the race, do you think, Matt?
Potentially is. It looks like it could be the start of something good to come at the beginning part of this race, but he's got to get away cleanly. He can't have Gluhack attacking him. He can't have Stardog attacking him into turn 1. He does not need another incident that is going to put him on the back foot in this race. Yes, it's an hour long, so yes, there's more chance for him to come through. Look at that as well, by the way. The ambient and track temperature shoots up 2 degrees more, so the drivers just starting to get a little more heat in their tyres quicker, which will be a bonus for them after this formation lap. We are back, though, in the commentary booth, as you can see now. We need to find a way to get a beef-sized image on this commentary box as well, so we can see Beefy out there. Oh, we can't.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Yes, you're all right. We've already got the images. Matt Wright's been obviously really busy at work.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Matt Wright's been busy at work again today, hasn't he? With all his image. I forgot to actually post the poster that Matt Wright had sent me because I've been busy today at home. So, 28 seconds left on the grid remaining at the moment before the drivers take to the formation lap. But don't forget, if you like what you see here, hit that thumbs up button to subscribe to the channel if you are new, as well as hit the bell to be notified. And tune in tomorrow night for the Pro Series around Valencia, where the likes of Wellington, Jimenez and many others will be taking to the circuit. And LMU will be back on Tuesday night next week for all the drama in that one. Should be a great start to this race. Who are you going for race winner-wise in this?
For race winner, I feel like if he can get a very, very good start and kind of peace out, I think Richie could hold on to the win. Because just a 31-0 in qualifying, yeah, that's... I feel like that's the range where the other drivers should really... I wouldn't say gang up, but you rounded up to ganging up on him to, if I can't win, then you can't either type of thing, but without taking him out. So I feel like if they could find a way to kind of hold him at bay, and this might be a little crude, but find a way to even put a ticket in on him, just, being patient or someone waiting for him to make a mistake where you can potentially put in a ticket, I think that's going to be the only way that they could defeat Richie tonight. Yeah,
I have to agree with you. I think it's going to be an interesting one. But we've seen Richie qualify on pole before and not be able to translate that into the race pace. So this is going to be huge tonight for Richie to make sure he could turn that qualifying pace into the race pace that he needs.
Absolutely.
Oh,
then for bronze, I feel like Jamie Lee has it. We saw he had extremely good pace in the sprint race, but let's just see if that could translate over to a race that's 4 times as long.
Get in! Sorry. I forgot to mute Beef. I forgot to mute. It's 0-0. It's 0-0. England missed a penalty, don't worry. Either way, we're getting ready for this race start. We're about halfway through the formation lap at the moment. Peckman has started from the pit lane, so does this negate, again, that ticket, that penalty that could go in against him?
I'm not a steward, but I would say, yeah, probably. But then this, again, could maybe double up. And we're going to see him get through cleanly after all the dust has settled if there is a turn 1 incident. If there isn't a turn 1 incident, then I could definitely see that it balances itself out.
Well, looks like England will get to retake the penalty. The keeper come off his line, even though Kane stopped his run-up. So, yeah, again, that rule really brought into effect. We're about to go green here, though, at SimPlay Motorsport for the next start of the race. Can we give a drive-through for the 32 just for giggles, says Flint in the chat. It would be fun, but we are green and go, and it's a good start here. Look at Stardog already losing out to Alcapara, coming under pressure from Jamie Lee. Here comes Alcapara to that outside line. Richie's going to lead quite comfortably. Oh, Jamie Lee right into the back of Stardog, and around goes Jamie Lee into Greaves. Not as big a pile-up as turn 1 this time around.
In there as well.
Was he as well? I didn't quite see Gabino, but Greaves definitely was. And
yes,
once again, turn 1, a disaster at the start of this race.
More contact heading into turn 2. You have the 57. And who's that? The 12 as well. Yeah, Valencia bites, especially turn 1. So again, I'm not surprised that happened, but definitely could have been way, way worse.
Could have been way, way worse. Well, out front at the moment, it is that of Mirko Ricci, who leads from a second from Gluak, who's got then Starlock behind him. Alcapara, the bronze leader, has a good amount of cars between himself and Stapley, being put under pressure by that of Michael Johnson at the moment. Johnson's going to be wanting to try and get through here. He's got pace in that Lexus this season as Michael Johnson. He's got Wolski and Popovich for company. Andrew Taylor ahead of Bettison at the moment, with Royden Stapley second in bronze at the moment down in P10. Millington has just cleared that of Sanchez for 11th and 12th. Sanchez the third driver in bronze. Cherry Moore. Then you've got Broome with Greaves trying to recover here. Now let's see the damage on the front of Greaves' car. Not massive to say he hit Jamie Lee quite square on. So Greaves may have got away with a bit of damage here on the car, and that should hopefully not affect his Mercedes-Benz too much. Well, he's just got past Broome for his troubles. Kruppeljan on the back of them as well. And then there's Flores and, I believe, Simcoe. Simcoe, after his qualifying ban, is Alistair Cummins, first man into the pits.
Oh, that might have been a warning for Bettison. Taylor was closing in on him, but as soon as that Lexus got opened up, he was able to clear himself, but ran extremely wide on turn 1. But Taylor's still on the back of him, and Stapley on the back of both of them, getting a really, really good view at this. And maybe if they find a way not to really battle each other, they might be able to catch up to Popovich, Wolski, Alcapara, and the rest of them. But Richie has absolutely checked out of this race.
Yeah, 1.6 seconds already in the lead. It's a good start for Mirko Ricci. The 19 is in the pits of Gabino once again. So his night goes from bad to worse. Coates is on the back of Mick Taylor down the bottom end of the field. He's looking to make a move. Can't do so at the moment. Through the little kink into the heavy braking zone of the left-hand hairpin. And there goes Coates to make the move over that of Taylor. So Coates moves up another spot. Brian Craig, Simcoe, Flores, Kruppeljan, Broome, all on the back, with Greaves as well, all on the back of Sanchez. Then a bit of breathing space to Cherry Moore and Millington. Cherry Moore has cleared Sanchez. And then again, a bit more breathing space from Stapley to Taylor. Taylor might lose out to Richard Betterson here. This has been on board with Andrew Taylor to show you what we mean about that Lexus straight line speed. Look at the Lexus now just starting to pull away more and more down the straight he goes. And I figured out that the tablet in my room goes off when I say Lexus at times because it thinks I'm saying
on the
Lexus.
inside of Sanchez. Both kept it within track limits, but Broom is looking for a move on Sanchez.
No.
Doesn't.
So Greaves trying to work his way back through the field here then, and he's doing so with great ease at the moment. He looks comfortable in that Mercedes-Benz. I have to say, last week and this week, he looks really good at the moment in it.
Yeah, I feel like the front engine cars are just a little bit easier to handle than some of the mid and rear engine cars. But, of course, the Mercedes was my first love, so I might be just a little bit biased.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I won a championship in the Mercedes, so yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's an extremely good car, providing you can get setups that negate the bop and the, as Kunos calls it, the rebuild of the Mercedes, which, Kunos, please go back to the original one that you had in 1.8, please. But anyways, heading into turn 11, they kind of stack up behind Greaves, probably trying to deal with just a little bit of understeer through turn 11, which is quite common. The car number 23 was off, and Tucker, but it seems that he's back on the black stuff. But Richie leads 3.5 heading into turn 1.
Sorry, Wellington. Peckman bounced off the sausage curb, coming through the little S's bit at the end, into the side of White. Somehow, none of them went around, and he hit that really hard. Sorry, Wellington, what was you saying?
I'm just looking at Stardog, Gluhack, and Johnson. It looked like Johnson had a really, really good run on Stardog, but he was able to keep it just behind. But now they're both looking to attack the Ferrari Gluhack, and if I was Gluhack, I might cover my mirrors up, considering you have two of the fastest cars in the game right behind you. But it's just, are they going to be able to get a good enough run out of some of these corners to be able to, you know, get their fishing rods and go fishing for a Ferrari?
I was looking at Richard Betson. Andrew Taylor had caught back up to the rear of him just because of the fact that through the after the start-finish straight, you know, the front engine cars just seem to struggle a little bit. So yes, we've got Stardog at the moment gaining on the back of Gluhack, who he has a moment
huge slide
on the curb as they come towards the S's. Johnson now right with the Ford Mustang here as we are 6 minutes into this race. And yeah, at the moment, like Mirko Richie, 6 minutes in, he's got a 5-second lead near enough.
Wonder who else did that. Just saying.
That was Mizano, wasn't it, though, not Valencia?
Oh. Both of them are drive-through capitals of the world.
Well, down the start straight, the Ford Mustang pulls away from the Lexus of Keenan Stardog, so he manages to keep going at the moment. Further down the order, Taylor's still trying to stick with Betterson. Cherrymore on the rear of Millington here. They've both got past Stapley, so another 2 places for them. Cherrymore just having a look at Millington, can't get the move done. We've got Sanchez and Broom and Krupeljan all still with Sam Greaves within a second of him. Behind Flores, you've got Simcoe after his qualifying ban working his way. Simcoe was brilliant at Bathurst. Got caught up in that drama at turn 1 in the first race tonight. He's really now got to try and find his feet to work his way through the field here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with all the chaos, I would say to kind of expect him to walk through any doors that open, especially again.
Oh, there we go. Simcoe's turned Flores around. Simcoe has turned Flores around. Brian Craig got forced off there. That's Cummins unlapping himself after his pit stop. So, yeah, Stardog definitely, Simcoe definitely there, just tapping the rear of Flores around, and Flores tumbles down the order a little bit.
Yeah, again, Mizano bites. That's just the way that the track is. Very, very unpredictable, and you kind of have to trust the driver in front and the driver behind just to not hit you or go wide or anything like that. Spin the tires up on a curb.
And look at this, by the way, Wellington. Alcapara and Wolski are on the back of Stardog and Johnson now, and Popovic isn't a million miles away. So here we go. Gluhack just starting to pull further away from Stardog at the moment, but a real fight happening behind the Mercedes, the Lexus and the Ford of Johnson and Stardog here.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I was kind of alluding to it earlier that if they keep fighting, making mistakes, then eventually they're all going to be on the back of each other, as Alcapar goes way late on the brakes and closing up just a little bit to Johnson. Wolski running a slightly interesting line, at least in my opinion. But yeah, if they could all work together, they might be able to get closer to Gluhack, maybe pass him. But I feel like this is just going to be one of those long ACC slipstream trains.
Yeah.
But if Gluhack on down all battle, this is only better for Richie because, again, he's just now coming across the line and about halfway down the front stretch before the rest of the drivers even get to the line with a 5.1 second gap.
Yeah, huge lead he's got already. We're only 10 minutes in to this 1 hour race. Is Johnson right on the back of Stardog, pushing the limits through turn 1. He pulls out now. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, thinks better of it at the moment. Stardog got the better run through turn 1. Sanchez, Alcapara's gone very, very wide. Wolski will not mind that one bit. Sanchez still leads in that bronze category, though. He's got a comfortable lead over Stapley at the moment. Stapley as well, by the way, joining the rear of the Cherrymore-Millington fight. Sanchez on the back of Sam Greaves as well, but yeah, that's just put a bit of daylight between Johnson and the car behind. But Greasy Bandits at the moment, 3rd and 5th, looking good value for their money. Can Alcapara, though, fight back? He's had good pace. He was the quickest driver in practice. He was up there in qualifying. So Alcapara and that Mercedes-Benz have got some pace about them. Can he keep it to the front runners at the moment?
Yeah, right now it looks like Taylor is about to get to the back of Bettison. But Millington, Cherrymore, again, all within touching distance. I wouldn't say you could throw a blanket over them quite yet. Might be quite a big blanket or a king-size quilt. But yeah, all kind of together, and it looks like they're closing in on Taylor. Might just be my eyes, but it looks like they've gotten a little bit closer to him. And again, if they could get to him, then eventually wrap Bettison up in there and Popovich, then I could see at least the top maybe 12, well, 2nd through 12th, probably all battling for an overall podium. But that's going to be just a little bit of a stretch. But it seems like everyone so far are in these little 2 to 5 car groups, and they're just slowly closing in on the group up ahead.
Yeah, indeed they are. Sanchez here looking to stay ahead of Neil Broom as well. The second in front. That'll be back-to-back podiums today at Valencia for the 2 Mercedes-Benz Hulkanius, Hulkians Motorsport team. Podium in the first race. They'll love a double podium in the sprint. That'll help him in the constructors as well. Obviously the constructors is for overall, not just for position. As Wolski had a look on Johnson there, bit of a moment coming out the corner. This has now put Alcapara on the back of him, and can't sadly get through for the Mercedes-Benz driver. But Wolski now starting to try and take the pressure off of his teammate by putting the pressure on Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good move. There were a couple times where Johnson looked to maybe line up a pass on Stardog, but wasn't close enough. So I feel like if he could force Johnson into a mistake as he runs a little bit wide, that could be a track warning, which are extremely strict here at Valencia. There's no time gained. It's either you get one or rarely you don't.
Well, let's see what happens further forward on the grid. Johnson again a bit closer to Stardog at the moment. Popovich not able to close in on these guys as quick as he'd have liked. Taylor's really lost out to the back of Bettison here. Cherrymore gone off to Catalonia, it looked like there at the moment, coming through turn 1. He's still on the back of Steve, but just can't make any inroads on that McLaren at the moment. Sanchez and now has got Broom right up the rear wing of him. Is still on the back of Sam Greaves at the moment. Further down the field, we've got Peckman trying to go around the outside of B-Dog and does that into turn 1.
Oh, Cherrymore spun.
And Cherrymore, so he's had a moment, and where's he dropped? That's Simcoe, so he's dropped behind Stapley, Greaves, Sanchez and Broom. Cherrymore dropping down the order a little bit more there then. So not what he would have wanted at all. And he's gone wide again. And Simcoe's nearly on the back of him. Coates gaining on Flores. I just saw Rob Smith's comment. Coates making good progress, making a good comeback up to 20th so far. Well, he's up to 19th and he's on the back of Flores for P18 at the minute. So a great drive so far.
Yeah. With how Flores's pace is, I could see Coates maybe getting past him, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting as he heads into turn 11. And yeah, it looks way closer to Flores than what he did going through the little kink. So maybe he will be able to get past. That'll be some very, very good points for him and the KSR squad.
Yeah, it will indeed. Obviously, Rob Smith, steering wheel issue, so he'll hopefully be back for next week. I'm sure he'll be missing out on the action at the moment. Further forward, that is Brian Craig putting a lap on Alistair Cummins, whose race has got to come from the back. So is Gabino's now, and wait for everybody to complete their pit stops. But yeah, Coates trying to get on the back of Flores. I noticed Peckman also got past Kruppeljan, who has entered into the pit lane with some damage on his car. So Kruppeljan in the pits. Back further forward though, Alcapara putting pressure on Wolski. Popovic has got ahead of Wolski and Alcapara here then. So what has happened there? And they've also now got Richard Betterson for company. So not quite sure what's happened, but Wolski and Alcapara have lost out to Popovic in this one.
Yeah, I would check the replay, but I already know my game's going to crash. So let me... I would like to, but I would also like to not have to deal with all those issues. But it looks like Gluhack, Stardog, and Johnson are all spaced out and no longer in their little group. But Popovic could maybe reform that group if he gets closer to Johnson and they tag team to catch up to Stardog and then, again, go hunting for a Ferrari.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to see what happens in the remainder of this race indeed. Andrew Taylor 2 seconds off the back of these four. But Mirko Ricci out front, fastest lap and 6.5 seconds clear of Gluhack at the moment. Well, so far he looks like he's an absolute million miles away of the rest of the pack here at Valencia. Oh, Sanchez has passed Greaves. So Sanchez has got ahead of Greaves then through turn one, or at least into turn one. So Sanchez up to P12, Greaves down another position.
Yeah, I didn't see Greaves flash his lights, so maybe it was just a clean pass, and maybe Greaves let him pass as to just have both of them survive to at least get to the end of the race. Or maybe Greaves just knows that Sanchez has a little bit more pace than he does, and as we're seeing now, it looks like Greaves is being dropped by the bronze driver.
Yeah, and he's coming under pressure from Neil Broom as well, so Greaves just struggling a little bit out there. And is it the longer this race goes on, we're over that sprint race now, is it the longer that this race goes on, the more this is going to start to hit the front engine cars a little bit?
I would think so, but I also, in my experience, again, not just driving cars, but also hitting up two wheels, Valencia is quite aggressive on the tires, and since the front engines are, again, heavier on the front, I feel like it'll wear out, well, of course it will wear out the front tires, but it's not just going to make it to where they're not as punchy as they were going through some of the slower corners like the last corner or maybe turn 11.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens in this one then. It's Sanchez actually putting Stapley under pressure for second place in that bronze category at this moment in time. So going well is the Mercedes-Benz cars of the Hulkanius Motorsport team. Coates still gaining on Flores. We've got Peckman gaining on Jamie Lee, who looks like he's been in the wars a little bit as well. Cummins has managed to pass Kruppeljan now. So Cummins is ahead of Kruppeljan, who has got Gabino on the same lap as him, and in fact only 15 seconds behind. Petrovic, well, was behind White, but is now some 2 seconds clear. So what has happened to White there? Not quite sure. Either way, back to the Broom and Greaves fight. Stapley coming under pressure, like we said, from Sanchez. Further forward, though, Wolski putting the pressure back on Popovic. Johnson back onto the rear of Keenan Stardog. So like you say, a few gaggle of cars here at the moment, Jimenez, just to try and make this race a little interesting. When are you looking roughly to pit around here? Are you looking at that halfway stage, one pit stop today compared to the 90 minutes? Are you looking at that 30-minute mark thinking that's the time to do the pit stops?
I personally would wait a little bit longer. I try to come down the pits when there's about 29, 28 minutes left. So if the drivers do change their tires, they'll have the freshest tires available. Oh, and is that Johnson
Sanchez.
way wide?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't seeing that one. Sanchez,
Yeah,
he
that
was wide,
Johnson.
yeah. He's shot behind Alcapara down into 7th place he goes. So Johnson has lost out massively. And Sanchez came into the pit lane. So just as we was talking about the pit stop, Sanchez is in.
Yeah, that's going to go 40 minutes on a set of tires here, Valencia. Again, it's going to be quite a stretch. I personally would wait till about 28 minutes left on the clock. And I know that George Boothby would probably do the same in his LFM Pro. Wonder where I got my strategies from. But,
Whoa!
yes.
Huge dive from Wolski there. Sorry, Beef. A huge dive from Wolski. Nearly made it stick. Still going side by side with Popovic into the S's.
Now for turn 11.
He does indeed, but it was a almighty dive at the last minute, and he has got the job done. Great move. Whether he meant it or not, still pulls it off.
Yeah, and that looks like Alcapara a little bit closer to Popovic, so maybe Alcapara could be in for a top 5 overall before the pit stops. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. But Johnson now on the back of the Mercedes. And then he's got quite a gap, no real threat from Bettison behind.
No, but what I have noticed is Andrew Taylor has pulled back a second to Bettison, so again, that mid-engine car just starting to get onto the back of the front engines a little more, and there's a good queue of the front engine cars right ahead of him. Cherry Moore also into the pits now.
Yeah, I think that as we start heading in later to the race, we're going to see the mid-engine tires kind of hook up a little bit better, because again, the front tires just die because you have all that weight and all that friction just going through them, causing them to wear. And again, in my experience, Valencia is quite heavy on the tire wear. So yeah, expect the Lamborghinis, the McLarens, Ferraris to begin pulling on the rest of the front engine cars. But the front engines will get their tires up to heat quicker if they do take tires. So maybe they could use a little bit of that punchiness, put in 3 or so extremely quick laps that can maybe jump a few of the mid engines, and then from there, heading into the second half of this race, just defend for their position.
Well, let's see what's going to happen then in this one. Johnson has got ahead of Alcapara. Popovic still trying to gain onto the rear of that of Wolski once again. Taylor now within 7/10 of Richard Bettison. So Taylor getting that little bit closer once more to the back of the Lexus. Big gap then back to Millington, with Stapley coming under pressure from Greaves, who's still got Broom on the back of him for company. Then we've got Coates up to 16th now due to pit stops. He's still there on Flores. Not really made any inroads on that, but Sanchez, Cherrymore, Simcoe. Oh, he stopped in the middle of the road. And who's just hit the back of Simcoe there?
Glue hack. And that means Stardog might get around him.
So P2 has just hit the back of Simcoe, who was stationary in the middle of the road.
Heavy damage too.
Well, we'll see when the car pins around. Let's take a look. But it doesn't look too bad on my end. Bit of front... The front splitter definitely damaged. Stardog goes deep, but I don't know what had happened to Simcoe there, but he was just in the middle of the road, Wellington.
Yeah, I was on board with Blue Hack, at least in third person, and I just saw a white car stopped, and I was hoping that he wouldn't hit him, but unfortunately, Glue Hack does hit him. Makes the job just a little bit easier for Stardog, and as they're heading into turn 14, if Stardog can go late on the brakes and maybe try and get a good exit, no, he bails out. Glue Hack goes, hits the apex. Yes, well, looks like Stardog got a little bit of a better run, and now Wolski Popovich and the rest of that train isn't far out.
Well, Stardog needs a better second race after the dismal first race that he had as they come down towards turn 1. That could just hurt Gluak in the straight line, especially on the corner entries as well. But like I say, Wolski not far behind them. Popovich with Johnson and Alcapara still there. Betson's got Taylor still 8/10 off the back of him. Sam Greaves going side by side with Stapley now. So Sam Greaves about to pass Stapley for position. Through he goes a little wide. This could open the door back up for Stapley here in the Bentley into turn number 2. And no, Sam stays ahead of the Bentley here then, as Neil Broom got a run around the outside of the Bentley. No, he has not, so backs out of that one and tucks back in behind for now. Further down, Coastal on the back of Diego Flores. We've got Petrovic gaining on the back of B-Dog as he looks to make a good move up the inside into the final corner, and through he goes. Lovely little move that from Petrovic. Gets the job done on the BMW M4 and up another position there. But yeah, definitely some interesting racing happening here, and Gluak is on the back foot now with that damage.
Yeah, but it looks like he's kind of keeping pace. He's dropped Stardog a little bit. Gap is 1.1. But Wolski's now on the back of Stardog, only 6/10 out. So I would say by middle of next lap, expect Wolski to be right there as Stardog comes in. Probably just to see what he could do differently. Maybe a tire pressure adjustment. You can't change the wing. But yeah, maybe just a tire pressure adjustment.
Yes!
Get the car hooked up just a little bit better. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see that strategy from him.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be interesting as Johnson's now on the back of Popovich at the moment, just trying to make a move to try and regain the with the position where he was. Obviously, he made a mistake into the gravel, as Wellington said a couple of laps ago. So he's got to now work his way back to the front. And you just wonder what would have happened if Johnson was on the back of Sardog during that Gluak incident with Simcoe. What would have happened between the three of them?
I think Johnson would have easily gotten past Stardog. I think Gluak just has a little bit more pace over the two of them. But with some of the dive bombs that we saw at Bathurst, I think Johnson would have at least tried to throw one of them on Gluak.
Indeed, he possibly will do. So let's see what's going to happen now as he's gaining on the back of Popovich. Runs a little wide for Alcapara to have a look. Taylor, by the way, look at him right underneath the rear wing of that of Richard Bettison at this moment in time. So Andrew Taylor, their mid-engine cars definitely looking like they're coming into their own a little bit here. And Andrew Taylor gaining on the back of Richard Bettison. The problem is for Andrew Taylor...
Oh, Stardog's off. Exit of turn 1.
Oh, he is big time on the inside as well.
I don't think he hit the wall.
He has. He's got some form of front end damage. Looking at this at the moment, again, only similar to Gluak, just a bit of visual on the bumper and the splitter. Nothing major though on that car, but well, that's going to have put him right down behind the pack trailing behind him.
Yeah, I think after pit stops that might put him behind Wolski, maybe coming out with Johnson, but I don't know how long he stayed there. I just saw the yellow flag and was surfing my monitor to see where the yellow flag was. But definitely going to be interesting. Wolski's closed in 2/10
the 57
this lap.
Sorry, Wellington, 57 yellow flag as well. That is Coates, who's had a moment, and into the pits he comes.
Yeah, it looks like Wolski's definitely closing into Gluak, so maybe this is what I guess this is the only way that they could really get around Gluak is just off-right pace, or unless Gluak does repair his damage, then that could definitely be quite an easy pass. And depending on how much he has, if again he does repair, maybe Alcapar and Johnson can go past as well. But Wolski now 1.1 behind, had a little bit of a slide coming into turn 13 and 14. But yeah, gonna be interesting to see when Gluak pits and if he's gonna repair any of the damage, and maybe if he takes tires or not, because it does look like the mid-engines are extremely good as Richie is into the pits for his stop.
Yeah, Bettison's just come in as well. I was just watching Andrew Taylor and Johnson all into the pit lane. So this will be interesting to see where Johnson comes out in regards to Stardog after Stardog's moment. Stardog's only just coming through turn number 4 now. as Johnson is into the pits. It's a longer pit stop here, though, today. And I'll get up the exact timing of the pit stop here. So I do believe it's 25 seconds mandatory tonight. That's Petrovic off that Stardog will pass pretty easy. I do believe it's a standard 25 seconds for these normal races.
Ooh, heavy damage on Petrovic's car.
Yeah, just saw him Mathew off. Oh, he has.
Arne is up.
So if it is the standard 25 seconds, Valencia will take you 55 seconds, 60 seconds if you're taking tyres in this race. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on also in this one. But where is Stardog in relation to that? That's Peckman off. Peckman's now been off as well. And has Peckman pitted? No, he hasn't. Well, he's going to lose out. Stardog, who again was on the grass, and he was coming past Peckman there. So, yeah, not having the best time. And look at that. Johnson and Bettison. Bettison wasn't even near the train of Stardog. Have both gone here.
Well wide from Stardog. I think he's in a little bit of a desperation mode because coming out of the last corner, that had absolutely have been a warning.
He's just struggling with something, is Stardog. Since whatever has happened since he's off, he's just struggling with something at the moment.
I definitely think it could either be the damage or more of the mentality.
Yeah.
Like, just one of those, I can't believe that I did that, but, you know, let me just, you know, kind of send those desperation moves. So, I don't know. We'll see when he catches up to the group of cars up ahead, although I think that those are lapped cars.
For Stardog. And yes,
no, Sanchez is for
the
position.
Sanchez is for position. The car ahead of him is Taylor, who is a lapped car, but yeah, the Taylor stays out the way. But yeah, the Sanchez car's for position, so he's lost out to Sanchez as well. That's how far Stardog has dropped down then in this race. Andrew Taylor, Gluak and Steve Millington yet to come in. So is Sam Greaves out there. Anroyd and Stapley. Peckman carries on his way. Jamie leaders as well. Flores is staying out. And then your leader, Mirko Ricci, is already back up to 12th place. Mark Tucker as well has stayed out on the track at the moment. So that's interesting. So does B-Dog. So, yeah, a few interesting decisions here on staying out. As good evening to Send It 1988 in the chat. Hope you're well, buddy. But, yeah, an interesting little race now. And the strategy here, especially from the likes of Gluak, he's got to now make this overcut work. He's into the pit lane now, but he's got to make this overcut work over the likes of... In fact, well, does he? Because, yeah, Wolski. Because Wolski got onto the back of him, didn't he, at the end?
Yes. But, again, this is about the time that I would pit and get an overcut on some of the other people, but as... get an undercut on some of the other drivers that are going to try and make it to the 20-minute mark. Those are probably people that aren't going to take tires, if I had to guess. But, yeah, this is about the time that I will pit, get tires, probably get a sip or two of water, reset myself with the 30 seconds or so that I have before I just absolutely send it. And it looks like Greaves stayed out, so he's now the leader. Lee is in. Flores stays out.
Well,
and Tucker just now coming up to the last corner. We'll see if he pits.
Well, here comes Wolski. Gluak's now leaving the pit lane. I think Wolski's got the jump over Gluak here. Yes, he has. And he will have by a good margin here. So, Wolski jumps ahead of Gluak. What about Michael Johnson? In fact, who's lost out... Sorry, Popovic. Could he get Gluak? No, he can't. So, Gluak comes out P2. In fact, Popovic might have the run on him here in towards turn number 2. Here comes Popovic looking up the inside line. And does the BMW get through on the Ferrari? Yes, he does. And Gluak down into P4 now. Net P4 when the pit stops are done. Fighting back on Popovic, though. And Popovic... sorry, he can't get that one done. These two are teammates as well, the BSH spinners.
Yeah, it'll be maybe a little bit of team orders came in because... yeah, I think a little bit of team orders and then maybe just a bit of strategy, as I feel like the undercut is a little bit stronger on ACC than what it is on LMU. So maybe Popovic, I think he pitted 1 or 2 laps early, so his tires are already up to heat. Meanwhile, glue hacks were a little bit colder So maybe they had a little, either that and again team orders.
Peterson jumped Al Capara in the pits. We've got Stardog down in 13th place now before Greaves and Flores do their pit stops. We'll see where he is just after. Dog and White still in the pits. The Simcoe might get a position here. Petrovic down in last after repairing that damage. Cabino 6 seconds off the back of Kruppeljan. But this is going to be an interesting one. Broom gaining on Stapley. That is for P3 in the silver class. Flores now in the pits. Sam's on his way out, but he's lost out to Wolski, Popovic, Gluhak, Johnson, Bettison, Alcapara. Is Sam going to lose out to Andrew Taylor? Yes, he is. Has Sam gained over Steve Millington, though? Yes, he has. Sanchez also gaining on Steve Millington and Keenan Stardog right on the back as well. But Neil Broom getting closer to that big Bentley of Royden Stapley here, and this is going to be an interesting fight to see what's going to happen towards the end of this race, because 25 minutes to go, a few different strategies happening out there, and we know that the likes of Al Capara, who pitted...
Oh, Stapley runs real wide, making it easy for Broom to go up the inside, and Broom is clear.
Yeah, he is indeed. So Broom through and up onto the podium of the bronze category at the moment. And your running order with 25 minutes to go. Mirko Ricci from Wolski, Popovic from Gluhak, Johnson from Bettison. Then it's Al Capari, your bronze leader, from Taylor. Sam Greaves from Steve Millington, with Sanchez in second place in bronze. He's got Keenan Stardog behind him, and Broom has just moved up into P3 in bronze. From then Sapley, Cherry Moore, Brian Craig, Peckman, Flores, Jamie Lee Flores. Is that right? Jamie Lee Flores? Yes, it is.
Stardog got past Sanchez as you were going through that.
Oh, drive-through
penalty.
penalty.
I think Sanchez let him through.
Mick Taylor, drive-through penalty.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's Valencia. Of course, Mazzano isn't on the schedule, but bound to get a drive-through. Again, just for track limits, you run a slightly wider line going through either the last corner or turn one, and the game will just hit you with a fun little track limit warning.
That's Privet there. It looks like staying out the way of the leaders and trying to not be a nuisance. And Johnson gaining on the back of Gluhak now. Gluhak losing out to Popovic a bit here, and Johnson just gaining on him a little bit more. So Johnson trying to get himself back into that P4. Probably feels he should be P2 at the moment, but obviously made that mistake to allow Wolski and Popovic through.
Yeah, just... I don't know. I think that Johnson, again, probably could be, well, easily be P2. Well, again, we still have another 23 minutes, 45 seconds, so we'll see how it plays out. And before the pit stops, it looked like Gluhak had a little bit more pace over Johnson. But again, let's see if Johnson took tires, and maybe that could be the defining factor, allowing him to close into Gluhak.
Well, it doesn't look like Gluhak repaired the damage as well. So if Wolski was catching him because of the damage, this could allow Johnson to do the same. Further down, Cherrymore trying to gain on Stapley now, as we've got Stardog, who has got past Sanchez. Stardog now will be looking at setting his sights on Steve Millington here. Steve as well is only a second off the back of Sam Greaves. They've got Cabino. They're trying to put a lap on. So at the moment, a few little battles just developing in this race. Privet gaining on the back of White. Who is,
Johnson with a look on Gluhak. Nothing there. But he was really, really close going into that turn two.
And it's a fact now he's starting to have a look. Drive-through penalty car number 13. And that is White as well. So as Privet just makes a mistake, that'll help Privet get past White pretty easy. Privet stays well out the way as Andrew Taylor comes through.
And it looks like they're catching up to Popovic, because they was so 1.0 second gap, but Popovic just looks closer both on the map and looking from the helicam. So maybe he made a mistake, or maybe he didn't even take tires, is what I'm thinking, because they're super, super close to him now.
Well, yeah, they are indeed. The 207 is in. That is Taylor, who looks like he's...
Oh, Popovic off.
He is.
Popovic off, Gluhak through, Johnson through.
Yeah.
And could Bettison get closer heading into... Yeah, he should be on there. probably rubbing his hands together. All he needs is a good run out of turn 14, maybe line Popovich up for a pass going into turn 2, maybe even turn 4.
Sam Greaves here gaining onto the back of Andrew Taylor as well. That's only 0.8 of a second at the moment. And Taylor looked like he possibly got held a little bit. But yeah, you're right here. Gluak now coming under pressure from Johnson. So Mick Taylor done his drive-through penalty. White still has to serve his. Coates now gaining on the back of Simcoe. Simcoe not having the race that he wanted like Bathurst a week ago. Peckman as well gaining on Brian Craig. This could be an interesting fight heading down into turn 1 here.
Yes. White still hasn't done his drive-through. I can't remember the other. Taylor
done it.
has already knocked his out.
Peckman having a look on the inside of Brian Craig into turn 2. Lovely little move. Peckman moves up the order once more up into 16th. Race 1 winner. Millington gaining on the back of Sam Greaves now. This bit of traffic has put Stardog off the back of Greaves and put Greaves on the Stardog off the back of Millington. It put Greaves on the back of Taylor a little bit, and now Millington's trying to get in on the back of Greaves. He's now got B-Dog in the way as a lapped car coming through the S's, and yeah, this is an interesting one at the moment to see what will happen in this race.
Yeah, definitely, again, another little group between Taylor, Greaves, and Millington. Really gonna... I guess we're gonna see if Greaves took tires as he closes in a lot on Taylor going into turn 14. I wouldn't be surprised if the two SimPlay McLarens didn't take tires again, since the mid-engines seem to be just a little bit better on their tire wear. But if Greaves took tires, I expect him to be a little bit more punchy in some of these slower corners.
Yeah, expect them to be a little bit more punchy as they come through the slower corners indeed. Johnson still trying to gain on Gluak. Mirko Ricci 10 seconds clear of Wolski. In a world of his own, it will take his own mistake or possibly lap traffic to cost him in this race. Peterson gaining on Popovich as well. So Popovich, since he's off Wellington, just cannot get into a rhythm once again here. Drive-through cleared for White. Betson and Alcapara gaining on him. Greaves still gaining on Taylor. This is allowing Millington to gain on Greaves. And Stardog as well, he's just lost a lot of pace at the moment.
Yeah, I think both Popovich and Stardog are both kicking themselves for their mistakes, and instead of just resetting their mind and kind of flipping off what I call the extra switch, where, you know, just head down and go. I think they're kind of in that medium where they keep thinking back to that mistake and probably kicking themselves of excuse me, like what could have happened had I not done this. Instead of, again, they have 18 more minutes, just flip on that switch and get your head down and just go.
Still interested to see what happens. Stardog as Johnson pulls to the inside line on Gluak into turn 1. Michael Johnson very, very wide. That'll give Gluak the place back. And Michael Johnson thought he had the move done. Gluak comes back up the inside. Bit of contact between the two. And Johnson will yield that place to Gluak now. And yeah, it just went in too hot into turn 1 there, did the Lexus driver. But he's mounting that pressure. And now it's invited Popovich back onto the rear of the pair of them.
Yeah, and Popovich looks to be bringing Bedison and Alcapar with him, so it will be interesting to see, could we see Alcapar on an overall podium?
Well,
that might be a little bit of a stretch.
Last week, wasn't he, at Bathurst, so it's not out the realms of possibility.
But still, it might be, again, just a little bit of a stretch, unless, you know, somehow by the grace of all things, Gluak, Johnson, Popovich, Bedison all take each other out, which, again, being Valencia, and as I've heard a couple of my friends call it, the flat Nürburgring, for just the chaos that it causes. Something could happen here, but I don't know, we'll see in about 17 minutes time. Alexis off. Was that Johnson? Yes, he went a little bit wide going through turn 12. Popovich closes right to the back of him, and so does the other Lexus of Bedison. But again, Alcapara just right off the back of Bedison as they head onto the front stretch now. It'll be interesting to see how Alcapara plays this, but if I was him, I would just kind of sit and wait, kind of twiddle my thumbs, and wait for the fast guys to take each other out.
Indeed, just to say as well, Mirko Ricci made his 100th race start in the last race, so he has now got that milestone of 100 races in the bag, and race number 101 is going exactly the way he'd have wanted it to in this one here so far. But Popovic gaining on the back of Michael Johnson, as we've said. Bettison's still there, so is Alcapara. Taylor coming increasing amounts of pressure now from that of Sam Greaves as well. Millington further back by 1.3, but Stardog coming under pressure from Sanchez here. He just has not got that pace to just keep with the front runners at the moment. Whatever he's done since having that moment, Stardog hasn't looked like he's got the pace anymore.
Yeah, again, I think it's just him kicking himself and not getting his head down, trying to reset. But if Sanchez gets past him, then I feel like that'll be an even bigger punch to the gut than having that mistake. And seems like Broom isn't far out either.
Yeah.
So maybe Broom could get past Stardog, but again, still another 15 minutes. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm not sure what has happened down the order. I've just noticed Gabino's got back up into P24, so not sure what's happened further down the order then. But yeah, Gabino running up in a higher position at the moment. Sanchez just dropping off the back of Stardog a little bit. Sam as well on Andrew Taylor. Alcapara still with Bettison. Bettison has lost a little bit of time to Popovic, who's still with Johnson, but Johnson looks like he's just chipping away at that gap to Gluak. Wolski now 13 seconds behind Richie. Nobody can stop this man tonight. He's been on absolute fire at the moment. But what a race, what a Valencia we've had tonight. We get to do it all again in the Pro Series tomorrow, Wellington.
Yeah, Valencia in the Pro Series is going to be a little, I would say, as chaotic, because, again, some of the drivers are going to do a lot of desperation moves as to just try and get past primarily the gold drivers and maybe just fight for every single point. I don't think it's going to be as chaotic as what we saw last season when we came here. What was it, the penultimate round, was it?
Yes, yes.
Where we were definitely seeing those championship fights solidify and where the points matter even more that late into the season. But yeah, I think as long as some of the pro drivers can just not retire, collect as many points as possible, that's kind of all they have to do. But again, it's the Pro Series. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be a lot of silly moves, probably a lot of swearing in the Discord afterwards. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and of course I'll get to see this from first person more or less tomorrow.
Indeed you will, if you want to join us for that 8 p.m. BST. Where else would you want to be on your Thursday night other than on SimPlay Motorsport? Might be me and Tanner, might be me. Not sure who's in the comms box yet. It was nearly Beef and Gillies in the box tonight. I'm struggling with a few issues at home to have been in the comms box. But yeah, it's nearly Beef and Gillies tonight. But either way, we've made it here. And I'm just struggling at the moment to see where anybody's going to make a move, because they seem to get close to the car in front with 13 minutes left. But that's about it at the moment. Unless the driver ahead makes a little bit of a mistake for them to get the runners. Sam Greaves looks to make a dive up the inside of Andrew Taylor. Can't do that. Nobody's getting close enough to do it, Wellington. So it's just at the minute sort of teetering on the edge of just forming a little train where nobody can actually get past each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like the F1 games DRS trains where one person makes a mistake, you let a whole crowd of cars through. But this is why I like Valencia, and again, why some of my friends call it the flat Nürburgring, because you're always constantly in a train hoping for the driver ahead to make a mistake, because what if you send a dive bomb and they close it off and then they spin out, then there's going to be a ticket for that. So again, you kind of have to plan your moves a few laps ahead and just hope that you get close enough, maybe to the side of them,
Well, Sam
preferably
Greaves
the inside.
has just gone round the outside on the entry into turn 2 of Andrew Taylor. Steve Millington's here now for company as well. So Sam Greaves up into P number 8 and Andrew Taylor down into 7th place. But that fight, oh no! Oh, Mick Taylor has span in front of them, and that's put Sam Greaves off. They've got around him. Sam's lit up the rear. Andrew Taylor's got back through. And now Steve Millington may fancy his chances. Can't do it though around the outside at the moment.
Yeah, again, I bet you he's going to line up a pass, maybe to go deeper on the brakes in turn 11. Depends on how much he could close on here in turn 8, 9. I don't have the track map up, but it's one of those two. Greaves really solid on the brakes compared to Taylor.
Just noticing, I believe we have had a retirement from the race, and yes, it is that of Kruppeljan, who has retired from the race. So retirement there for Kruppeljan, and that'll be a trip to see the stewards at the end of this one.
It also depends on where he retired, because if he got to at least the 50% mark, then he will score points.
Yes, I believe he has done enough to score the points. It's only just been a retirement because Taylor's only 3 laps behind, so I believe it will be enough for 30th place points because Taylor should get them 3 laps back. But yeah, like you say, it's retirement. He'll still take the trip to see the stewards, but he will score points for retiring in that final for completing 75% of the race.
Looking back to this glue hack, I wouldn't call it a fight per se, but this quite stretched out train, yeah, just nothing really happening. I thought that maybe Bettison, maybe Johnson were going to be able to fight for the podium, but it looks like Glue Hack, even with the damage, still has a little bit more pace over the cars behind him.
Well, one man who's been flying, Rob Smith, saying that Stez, aka Coates, is been gaining a second lap over Brian Craig, and he's right on the rear of him for 18th and 19th place at the moment. So, interesting one to keep our eyes on so far.
Simcoe off, yes, and just saw the yellow flag on the top of the screen. But Coates this Coates battle is going to be quite interesting, as he has the inside going through the kink. How late does he go on the brakes? Throws it down the inside, keeps it tight, and drive through for Cherry Moore.
Yep. Kruppeljan in the chat, disconnected due to the high ping. I did notice one of the cars had a high ping. It was in the red for quite a while, so that must have been Kruppeljan himself. So he's had a disconnection there then, as Sam Greaves has also got back ahead of Andrew Taylor this time round. So Coates gets through, and Sam Greaves has also got past on that of Andrew Taylor, and Popovich has got past in fact, Bettison has also got past Johnson. So Johnson has dropped down to 6th place. He's got Al Capara on the back of him now.
Yeah, I didn't see a yellow flag, but I think a lap or two ago it was Bettison ahead of Johnson, because I saw that Al Capara kind of looking for a move on Johnson. But very interesting to see how this plays out.
Yep.
Still, Popovich still having to deal with those Lexi behind, or Toyota Camrys, as some of my personal friends call them, the Lexus.
Are you saying we're not personal friends? That's crazy.
Sorry, my real life friends that I see every single day.
Oh, that's
but yeah,
you technically
the
see me
Toyota
every day.
Camrys.
Actually. Always
true.
got the camera. No, I know what you mean. Al Capara, great showing from him. 7th place on the back of Johnson now. I tell you what, Black and Blue Racing, they're going to score some good points here today, 5th and 6th in this second race.
Absolutely. Then Wolski personally is going to score some extremely good points.
Yep.
Back to, well, I don't want to call it too early, but I'm currently in P2. Also had a P2 last week out in Bathurst. So could this maybe be molding a championship run? We've seen him close in past seasons, but could this um, could this really just, put a bow on everything that he's done in the last few seasons?
Coates as well, by the way, within 6/10 of Jamie Lee now, so they're having a nice little battle. Petrovic has just got past B-Dog. B-Dog on the outside at the moment, and Petrovic goes through. But yeah, Coates flying. Simcoe on the back of Flores. Coates absolutely flying on the back of Jamie Lee at the moment. Looking to try and get on the back of Jamie Lee here. We've got Andrew Taylor still with Sam Greaves. Alcapara right on the back of Bettison. So Johnson's got ahead of his teammate, and Alcapara looking to pick up some more points. Bettison within...
Ooh, drive through for Simcoe.
So that puts to bed that battle, doesn't it, there? Simcoe was gaining on Flores and picks himself up a drive-through penalty. He said we'd get a few in this second race. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I said over 2, and so far I think we've had 3 or 4. But I'm still looking at this Coates-Lee battle. Really unfortunate that Coates couldn't get started a little bit earlier, because he's just now going into turn 11, and to have been on the podium where Sanchez is just now coming across the line. So maybe if he got started a little bit earlier, he could have been fighting for that podium. Maybe a top 5 in class with Stapley, who is just now coming through turn 1. But yeah, we'll maybe see next week if he could get that car hooked up just a little bit earlier and really just use the mid-engine's tire wear advantage.
Spa-Francorchamps next week as well for the Pro-Am, the 90-minute races. Here comes Coates in towards turn 1 on that inside line. Coates looking to make the move up the inside of Jamie Lee. He goes and has that one surely done. He'll have the inside for 2 as well, still side by side together, Lee and Coates. Lee later on the brakes, Coates round the inside of Jamie Lee, both in the McLaren 720S Evo. Lee will pick up a track limit warning there, and Simcoe drive through, still got 2 laps to do it. Coates goes through, so Coates up another position. Stapley trying to gain on Sanchez for second place in bronze. Andrew Taylor's lost out to Greaves a lot more now. Alcapara still right on the back of Richard Bettison. Johnson in the slipstream of Popovic further forward. Gluak has pulled away from these 4 by quite a bit, and none of these 2 could make the move. Alcapara and Johnson still stay behind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Alcapara has a little bit of pace over Bettison, but just the Lexus straight line speed is the only thing that's keeping it afloat. But otherwise, I think that car would be drowning. And Bettison runs a little bit wide. Alcapara gets kind of the Boothby slide going through turn
This is really
5.
good points for Alcapara as well over his bronze rivals, because look, he's got 4 silver drivers looking to make it 5 if he can get past Bettison. In between him and Neil Broom in second place. In fact, I didn't notice Neil Broom was actually second place in the bronze category. I thought it was Sanchez. So Broom doing a great job in second place as well. Obviously his first race of the season after missing Bathurst for being on holiday.
Yeah, but for the last spot on the bronze podium, Stapley is right on the back of Sanchez. Well, not anymore. There's a little bit of a gap, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the next 3 minutes. Could the Bentley get a bronze podium? I don't know. Oh, Stapley way late on the brakes, gets it turned in. He's right in the RVD of the Mercedes right now.
Well, Popovic going defensive over that of over Johnson.
Oh, Sanchez runs wide, Stapley through and onto the bronze podium.
There we go. So Stapley looking to make it 2 podiums in 2 weeks. He was on the podium at Bathurst. Johnson stays behind. Alcapara stays behind Bettison. Andrew Taylor under the rear wing now with Sam Greaves at the moment. Stardog's been closing in on Steve Millington a little bit. It's over a second. We've got 2:44 left. So we've got about 2 laps. Where's Richie? Middle sector. So maybe one final lap after this. What are they lapping? Richie's lapping a 1:33 at the moment. So possibly 2 more after this. I doubt it though. Might just be the one after this one, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, some fights now started to develop here, and some really tasty fights as well.
Johnson's closing in to Popovic. I think he's finally got the brakes package from Bathurst turned back on, but it looks like just under the brakes he's a little bit more confident than Popovic is.
Well, let's see what he can do. They've only got 2 seconds to that of Gluhak. Mirko Ricci coming to the line. I think we're in for 2 more laps here, because he's going to cross the line with 1:50 left on the clock. So I believe this is the penultimate lap of the race.
Who's that?
63.
One of the McLarens off.
Who's
that Privet?
It is Privet, yeah.
Yeah, Privet.
Privet off. He's a lap ahead of Mick Taylor, so shouldn't lose a lap there. Simcoe in for his drive-through penalty. Sanchez has lost 3 seconds to Stapley now. So what has happened to Sanchez in this one? But Andrew Taylor still with Sam Greaves. In fact, Taylor might be having a look into the final corner. No, he's not. And Alcapara right under the rear wing. And Popovic has got Johnson. Johnson again very wide at turn 1. Has to be careful with them track limits. Betson managed to hang on in there, though, over Alcapara.
Yeah, that was... I don't know if that was a track limit warning for Alcapara. Cut it close at least twice. But yeah, it definitely seemed like the Mercedes has a little bit more pace over the 2 Lexus. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets past, maybe, but I wouldn't hang my head low if he were to get a P7. Because, I mean, a bronze win is a bronze win, but a P7 in bronze, that's off the charts good.
And don't forget, if you are new to SimPlay Motorsport, the points are not scored between the categories. They are scored for overall position. So having 4 silver drivers in between you and your next bronze rival is absolutely huge for Alcapara in this one at the moment. Going to go on board with Mirko Ricci. No, we're not going to stay on this fight because we are going to start the final lap of the race now. So the last lap of the race here. So Betson's got 1 and a bit laps to just hold off that of Alcapara. Sam Greaves has got 1 and a bit laps to hold off that of Andrew Taylor, who's coming back at him. Alcapara now, though, holds a tighter line. Betson went a little deep through the final corner. Side by side they go. Out of the final bend. Popovic trying to defend from Michael Johnson. And Alcapara on that inside line, looking to try and make the move on Richard Betson. Betson holds it strong around the outside, runs a little wide, though. Alcapara has to get out the throttle there before he tapped into the rear of Richard Peterson. And Peterson stays ahead for the time being.
Yeah, he didn't really have to defend that. It just went a little bit later. He could have used a pinch more of the track to keep the speed up. But Alcapara looks like he's coming back going into the next corner. Yeah, well, Peterson now to the inside. How late is he going to go? Nope. Alcapara goes way wide. But again, this is going to be a very interesting battle, at least to close out the race. Looks like Sanchez is into the pits. Could that have been a slight miscalculation on fuel, do you think, Matt?
Yeah, potentially so. I wondered why he dropped off the back of Stapley quite quickly, but yeah, it could be a miscalculation. But Mirko Ricci is about to come to the line. He's going to win here at Valencia. Dominant fashion, pole, race win, fastest lap. Good stuff from him. Wolski's going to come through to take the 2nd place. What a drive from Wolski there. Still can't find that race win, but he'll hang on for a P2. Gluhak is going to come across the line for P3. Good result for him. Popovic, is he out of fuel at the line because Johnson takes P4? Popovic just finishes in P5. So a good result for Johnson there. But Popovic, did he just run out of fuel? Bettis in 6th. Alcapara wins in bronze. Sam Greaves is going to hold on for 8th place ahead of Andrew Taylor in that P9. Steve Millington will hang on for P10 in this one as well. So what a result for him. Stardog P11. Again, just losing out on points. Neil Broom takes 2nd in bronze. Stapley, back-to-back podiums. He gets 3rd place in bronze. Here comes Peckman as well for a 14th place at the moment. Good result, if you ask me, for him. Cummins has finished down in 21st. Coates is going to come through in just a moment for yet another 15th place on a solid comeback drive here from Coates. I believe it's 15th anyway, provided nobody's left the server. No, they haven't yet, so it will be 15th place for Coates in this one. Jamie Lee, 16th. Brian Craig under pressure from Cherry Moore right at the final corner here. This could be close for Cherry Moore and Brian Craig. Who's going to get to the line first? It is just Cherry Moore who beats off that of... sorry, it's just Brian Craig who fends off that of Cherry Moore. And we'll await the final race results because a few drivers have left at the very end. But what a race that was as we just await for Sanchez to come around. And while we wait for the driver interviews, we will wait for Sanchez to come to the line. But what a race that was at the very end. Absolutely fantastic to see all these drivers finish off really, really strong. And
Yeah, again, I think it was just a miscalculation on fuel, but he would have scored extremely good points as his teammate did. But yeah, just one of those racing things. Even if it's just 1 or 2 liters off, that could mean a position, or in his case, quite a few positions that he dropped. Just having to come down pit road and top it off.
yeah, indeed it does. If you had to give us a silver driver of the day and a bronze driver of the day, who would you give it to?
Silver, bronze, I would say Coates. As soon as he got the McLaren fired up, it was just kind of forget about it. Then for silver, maybe Popovich. He looked very, very strong the entire race, and we saw him, I wouldn't say make a bunch of moves. Some of the moves just came to him, but he definitely played a very, very patient game. So I think that'll be my silver driver of the day.
I'm going to go the way of silver driver of the day. Where did Wolski get him? I'm going to go Wolski, second and a fifth. I think he had a good day of racing. And I'm going to go for Alcapara. 2 race wins, 2 podiums in category. He got an 11th and a 7th. I think that's a great couple of results for the young man here tonight. So I'm going to go for Alcapara as the bronze driver of the day. And we are joined by Wolski at the moment, our only interview in the box. So we will start with him. Congratulations tonight, a 2nd and a 5th place, Wolski. A good night of results for yourself. But I have to ask, what have you got to do to win a race here? Because it always seems at the moment that you just cannot get close to the leaders to win a race.
I don't know, honestly. Maybe I need some more practice because I don't have much time to practice. So maybe this is the thing. And there are a lot of very fast guys, so it's never easy to win the race here. Never easy.
A good result though in race 2 and in race 1. Obviously, a bit of drama at the start of the first race, in which caused a bit of chaos at the beginning. That allowed you to get through in race 1. Race 2, pretty simple race. You were stuck behind a few cars for a while though. You jumped Stardog in the pits due to a mistake to Keenan, and you got it yourself ahead of Johnson as well. So it was a pretty quiet race 2.
Yeah. It was quite quiet. I was behind some cars, and after the pits, I just ended up with on P2. So I guess other guys had some issues, some problems, maybe some crashes. I don't know. I just went for P2 and started to manage the pace, and I was quite struggling with sliding. So. It was not so easy to drive today, so yeah, I'm very pleased with P2.
We had to Spa.
Good result.
Yeah, indeed. We had to Spa Francorchamps next week. What can you do around Spa?
I hope for podium. Yeah. I like this track. I don't know what the weather will gonna be like. So if it will be dry, it will be easier, of course. But in the wet. We'll see. I just hope for the clean race with some good points. That's all.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on that one, buddy. Thank you for being with us tonight. Have a good one, and we'll see you at Spa.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Looks like we've only got Wolski in. Wellington, final thoughts on tonight, and then obviously looking ahead to next week. What do we think for that one?
Yeah, it was a very, very fun race. Again, we saw some drive-throughs, some slides, and really just very, very patient driving, which there are some times when some series come here to Valencia where you see a bunch of...
I believe we've lost...
Clean.
Oh, there we go. He's back. Sorry, carry on, Wellington.
Yeah. Oh, there. All right. Discord having a meltdown. But yeah, very, very clean racing, I thought, today, which very uncommon for Valencia. But Spa, I hope it rains for pro-ams. As we know, the pro drivers are privileged, so it'll be dry regardless. But I think just a little bit of weather at Spa next week. It's one of the ones that I circled on the calendar that could have weather. Either that, of course, Donington, Zolder. So I wouldn't be surprised if Donington is wet. I'll probably check the AccuWeather after this. But yeah, Spa is going to be one of those just sweaty tracks. That's a track that I feel like is on almost every single league's calendar. So we'll see who has that little bit of extra pace. Could we see a 218 maybe in Pro-Am qualifying? Maybe. But I know we'll definitely see next week and the practice session and all that. But yeah, really, really fun to commentate this race. Hopefully Spa is a fun type of chaos as well next week.
Well, don't forget, if you have liked what you've seen here, hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified, and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as well as checking out in the description below our fantastic sponsor. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printer clothing, and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Head over to their Facebook page, Designed Manchester, there. But that is all we have time for here tonight. Like Wellington's just said, we'll be live tomorrow for the pro race where he'll be involved in it at Valencia. 15-minute sprint, 60-minute feature race before heading back to the 90 minutes of Spa-Francorchamps next week, as well as Monza in the LMU series. But I've been Mathew Duffin. That's been Wellington Jimenez in the commentary box. Thank you to everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.